Hi, this is Dr. Scott Young, and today we're going to get into how does President Trump solve the economy without NESARA? Do me a favor, if you go on, like and subscribe, it would really help me out with that too. But I'm going to show you something that I put on the website here, and I'm going to present it over here. Sorry, it takes me a second to pull it up. And I added something that I think you guys might really like here. I'll pull that off the screen. And what it is a QFS response. I think a lot of people are actually looking for this kind of stuff. They're asking some questions on there. Again, these are predictions that we have about the QFS. I try to talk about what it's not and what it is so that you have a clue about that. Okay, so you guys can go and you can download it there with that. So let me pull that off the screen, and then I'm going to bring up our PowerPoint here, and I want to show you a couple interesting points here. Sorry, it takes me a second to bring that up here. Okay, so I hear this literally all the time. I hear conversations like, well, NESARA is a PSYOP. And I want to start off, actually, and pull off the screen for a second here. I have a friend named Sean who's a chiropractor, and Sean is super awakened. And he and I were talking about his study of the budget, of the federal budget. And this is back about 20 years ago. And he was like, there is a pretty darn bad scenario, and then there's the unbelievable nightmare scenario. And he was talking about it, and this is 20 years ago. And he says we're like bordering on the nightmare scenario with the monies. And I'll show you more about what I mean by that. Then, and I said to him, I said, well, yeah, but what you don't realize is that we're already in the nightmare scenario. Because even with DOGE solving, a lot of things of what you're spending right now, you're going to see how it's unsustainable on every level with that too. Okay. So let's talk about how that actually works here. So as we bring it up on the screen, I'll show you why I mean what I mean by that. Now, by the way, I never sell crypto. Don't ask about it. That's ridiculous. Okay. You cannot buy a QFS crypto. Doesn't happen. Okay. So how does President Trump solve it without NESARA GESARA? I mean, you don't understand. The wave of 2008 is this. This is what's coming. It's an unsolvable puzzle. And I keep saying to every single person, guys, do you understand President Trump is an economist first? He has this master's degree. A friend of mine, Mark Z, talked about this, and I've forgotten about it, but that President Trump has a master's in economics. You think he has no clue about this, right? When he makes quipping statements, and by the way, a new, let's see here, let me pull this up here. This just came out today as President Trump. They're trying to put him on trial again or sentence him. I'm like, whatever, you ridiculous idiots, left and right. The newest statement that just came out is that Representative Buddy Carter introduced a bill to abolish the IRS and federal income tax. Do you understand? He's been talking about it. I had to tell a person who is huge in the RV kind of area. I was like, she goes, well, I haven't been paying taxes for the last 4 years. I understand, but I've been telling people this for a long time, right? The reality is they have to have NESARA, and Trump has known about it for a very long time. Okay, so one of my favorite things here, and I'm going to mute this because the censors will mess with me here. But when people say, you're going to have NESARA is just ridiculous to most people. They go, oh, guys, this is the most idiotic thing out there. This is from funny movie with Adam Sandler, and everyone's dumber from listening to those kinds of comments. And you're just like, Okay, a simple wrong would have done. So I paused, I muted that. The point is that when I hear a scam thing, I look at you and go, you haven't put together what it really is. Now, I've already talked about NESARA in quite a few ways with that too. You can actually watch plenty of little series and playlist, NESARA shorts with that too. All right, let's talk about one of the more fascinating points is that 80% of all the dollars that have been made in the last 5 years. Now think about that for half a second. Look at the dollars before this time frame, and that's basically what 70 to about 2020. And look how much they have spent in actual billions of dollars. So this is trillions of dollars. The creation of money has been astronomical. In essence, not just 80% of the money. We're saying basically 800% growth in that money. Not 80% of the money. You just say 80% of the money. We've only had 20%, but more than that. But an 800% growth in inflation points. And when people tell you that inflation is 4, 5, 6, whatever percent, I go, no, it's not. But here's the other thing. If the money has risen by 800%, why haven't prices raised 800%? Because the White Hats have a control point out there. I'm telling you, prices haven't raised 800%. Now, yes, prices have sometimes in some areas raised 150%, but it has not raised enough for the amount of currency. Inflation is a relation to the amount of currency that is fractionally created. And yet, this is super unsolvable. It's because they've been unhooked from the capabilities of the system. NESARA is super on the way. Okay? Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett. I just lost his name for a second there. Why in the flock has he had cash? Now, in some of the best times of the stock market, he has built out, I mean, the systems have built out billions and billions of, sorry, I can say that. Sounds like the guy used to talk about stars, billions and billions of stars. Carl Sagan. And so, why is he sitting on almost $300 billion of monies? Why would he do that? If the stock market has grown, and by the way, this was a little dip right here, and the stock market grew dramatically, why would he have his money in stocks? Why? It's because of Executive Order 13818 says that they have to convert this money into cash and it isn't theirs anymore. This is the defunding of the elite idiots. They have lost it. It goes into the St. Germain Fund. And this is part of the way that we pay for the things in the world. This is just one of the funds. I could do this all day long. These make 0 sense. If you believed in a market that was growing, and by the way, it was around 20K when Trump was out of office, and when the fake idiot was in office, it's up 42K. Why wouldn't he be riding that wave up? And yet he's been sitting on, hundreds of billions of dollars in cash because he doesn't have control of the money. It just is another sidelong indicator with that too. Here's deficit spending with this or deficit versus surplus. Okay. We're going in basically 1930. There's a massive deficit that occurs pre-World War II, right? This is all before, and during World War II. So we have deficit spending that comes up. Now we have a bit of a surplus post-World War II. That would be Truman's time frame when we started to see some growth. And then in the time frame of Eisenhower to Truman, we have another bit of flatlining that the Fed wasn't spending more than they brought in. They kind of were more responsible. Now you started to see the loss of responsibility later in LBJ timeframe and into Nixon, and it gets really bad in Jimmy Carter. People want to say Jimmy Carter is a great guy. Actually, they had a massive surplus of monies, and then that's when he created the National Education Association and dumped in a ton of cash. Thanks, Sean, because that was the same conversation we had. And look through even Reaganomics. From 80 to 88, we had a massive deficit point that we were dealing with. This is partly inflation and partly because he was spending money, hand over fist. Even into the Bush era, all the way. And the funny thing is, Clinton actually had a massive surplus that he started to do, and people started to feel better in the late 90s. But look at it from Bush all the way through Obama, and then even in the time frame of Trump, we have this massive spike. It comes up a little bit, and that's COVID kind of thing. And listen, these are unsolvable kind of numbers. There's no way of doing it. It is super similar to this. And I'm going to use this thing playing in the background here, just the look that happens out there when I look at this kind of thing. If your son walked up to you and said, Dad, Mom, I don't know how to take care of my finances. I need help. I need some cash, right? But he's making like a $35,000 a year. But you start looking at his numbers and he's spending $100,000 a year. You'd have that same look on your face as this one here. I think it's from Full Metal Jacket with that too. But anyway, the point is like, make it make sense, right? Make it make sense. This is what the government is doing. They're spending, and I'm going to pull this off the screen for half a second. They're spending like drunken sailors. They've been spending $100,000 a year when they only make $35K. How long do you think that can be sustained? I'm telling you, I mean, if with someone's resources. Now, for instance, I have a business behind me, and I also have a foundation with that. And if I was having massive problems, I could start taking from those different areas. It's not good, and it's not the right thing to do. But if I had to, if there was a massive, financial crunch, I wasn't going to be able to figure out how to do it. It would be like stealing, robbing from Peter, Pan, and Paul, right? And so you got that stealing. But there is an end point. Even if I refied the house and did a second mortgage and pulled this, and you're stealing from different things. They're borrowing every single dollar that they come up with. There is an end point to all of this. Okay? That is what is out there. And people say to me, well, this NESARA thing, it's ridiculous. So what if you fix it by the DOGE issue? That's only dealing with the now to the future. It doesn't fix the past. Because as a person who used to be at 90% debt to income ratio, even when I started to live within my means from 2006 on, when I started to live within my means, my budget was right on target with that. I was still dying from the past debt that I had no way of paying for on a consistent basis. The interest stuff was killing me. I remember a $50,000 credit card that I had, and the minimum payment was $1,500 a month, and I think I was putting on, I think it was like $300 that it was putting toward the principles of that. And I go, it's an unpayable thing. They even had on the credit card thing, You'll pay this off in 78 million years. I mean, whatever it was. But you get the idea with this. And there's no way to fix this from the past stuff. Okay? But here's what people, and I just had a lady, I just copied and pasted this exact thing here. I want you to see this. This was actually sent to me by my wife. And I'm not going to say it perfectly here because I don't read things and say it. That's my dyslexia that comes in there with that too. But you'll get the idea. I am with you and I'm for you. When you decide on a course of action that is in line with my will, nothing in heaven or on earth can stop you. You may encounter obstacles as you move toward your goal, but don't be so discouraged. Never give up. With my help, you can overcome any obstacle. Do not expect an easy path as you journey hand in hand with me, but do remember that I, your very present helper, am omnipotent. Excuse me, I could say that thing 14 times in a row, mess that one up, right? Much stress results from you wanting to make things happen before their times have come. One of the main ways I assert my sovereignty is in the timing of the events. If you want to stay close to me and do things my way, ask me to show you the path forward moment by moment. Instead of dashing headlong toward your goal, let me set the pace, slow down, and enjoy the journey in my presence. This is Psalms 46:13, this last little part. God is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in times of trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, even though the earth will be removed, the mountains be carried away in the midst of the sea, though the waters roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with swelling. Have you guys noticed what's happening in LA? The waters are roaring. Why? Because they don't have any waters coming in. They're turning on the faucets. It's not happening. Are you stressed? Are you freaking? Why do you think I'm up at 3:15 this morning and almost every morning? Because I'm in prayer, being calm. Guys, there's an old movie with Sylvester Stallone, and he goes to the future in this movie, and he's brought awakened. He was in a cryo chamber, and he's serving a sentence, and this harmonious time that they live in. There's a bad guy that's also been elevated from the prison, and so Sylvester is brought back to be the policeman, and they say enhance your calm. And they keep saying that to everyone when he kind of gets mad about things, and because everyone's always calm all the time. But it's a really good statement. When you enhance your calm, when you kind of plug into the Lord, you find that calm. You guys can't affect anything. I can't affect anything. This is way over our heads. It's coming. There's no way that anyone can stop it. And like I told you, Buddy Carter is putting through a bill. It's going to happen. The IRS is dead. It's the same thing I've been talking about for 4 years, 5 years now. Guys, be calm. It's coming. There's no way to not have NESARA. The basis of NESARA is a gold-backed currency and a deletion of the Fed. Once that happens, tons of little things change moment by moment. Thanks so much.